Hey everybody, Bob Lazaro from All Things Leland, and we have a really fun interview scheduled today. Many of you may know Bill McHugh as a former member of the town council, dad, husband, lawyer, community advocate, but he has a new title to his name, and that is author of a children's book called The ABCs of Local Government. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. As a former elected official myself, 10 years, and having worked in local government for most of my career, it's always striking to me how little folks focus on the important aspects of local government, especially younger people. And having gone to schools and talked to school children, oh, I didn't know that was a frequent answer to a question that I may ask. So, tell me about the impetus of the book and that journey to get it to being published.
Yeah, I mean, you really nailed it. Early on in my tenure on the town council, I came to the realization that a huge portion of my conversations and my interfacing with the public was educational in nature.
Right.
People would come to me with a problem, and I would explain to them what we were trying to do, what we'd done in the past. Perhaps that the local government was the wrong level, and saying, this was a county issue or a state issue, and try to help them find who to talk to. And I was kind of struck by that. And then I reflected on my own life. I've been involved and interested in politics since I was a child. I remember
Right.
watching the 1992 presidential debates with my father.
Hmm.
And, it was George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Ross Perot, and just being fascinated by the whole thing. And even as someone who's spent their whole life involved, who, I got a degree in political science before law school, local government wasn't something I gave much thought until I owned a home.
Hmm.
And I realized that there was this big knowledge gap. And I started thinking of different ways to fill it. And thinking of how to reach children was, obviously a goal there. And, I have a 2-year-old daughter and I read her a lot of books.
Hmm.
And she loved these ABC books as a baby,
Hmm. Yep.
ABCs of love, the
Yep.
ABCs of friendship, and things like
Yep.
that. And it occurred to me that that could be an opportunity to sort of pack a lot of concepts into an easily digestible format. And off it went from there.
Yeah, I mean, my whole involvement too is similar, in nature. Not a lawyer, but always interested in politics. There never was the focus on the local. It was, the president, member of Congress, etc. But as an adult and homeowner and eventually elected official, the impact of local government on people's daily lives, from parks and open space to traffic, etc., is immeasurable, really. And so you have the ABCs from A to Z, really good stuff. Read it, bought one for my grandson, bringing it up for his second birthday in a couple of weeks, and I'm hoping his mom and dad read it to him more than once. I mean, as you did I mean, how has your own personal experience in Leland helped inform the book itself?
It gave me a lot of understanding of where the confusion or the misconceptions might be, and just a lot of experience in, how to find a variety of topics for 26 different letters. I
Sure,
wanted to cover as much as possible. I didn't want there to be a lot of repeats.
sure.
And so just being that involved and having it being such a central part of my life for 4 years made that much easier. I mean, I just wrote A to Z in the notes app on my phone and
Okay.
started filling in concepts as I went.
Hmm.
But it was that experience and all those questions and all those, common misconceptions and people coming from other states where
Yeah.
the systems are completely different, and having to sort of relearn everything from scratch. It gave me a really broad base to pull from. So it was easy to come up with the topics much more than it was to sort of limit them. If I hadn't done this format, I could have written a 500-page tome, and I don't know what toddler on the face of the earth is going to sit
No,
through that.
no. No, not at all. I mean, A to Z is as you said, 26. I mean, the X factor was the most interesting one to me, and I do think that when you think about it, just thinking of Founders Park and that X factor of that beautiful facility, the 2,000 plus people that were there for the grand reopening in July. I mean, it just goes to show you when you have this municipal complex, you have the town hall, the park, the library, the community center, all within walking distance, all within biking distance of the. I mean, that really an X factor item that, on its face, you may not think about it, but really important. And just a little bit. I mean, your involvement with Founders Park was from the very beginning in terms of the planning and then the actual funding of the project.
Yeah, so I came on council shortly after the public planning process, which I did participate in. But getting through, the grant funding and getting that off the ground and through to completion was just a huge accomplishment and such a wonderful amenity for the community. From day one, I was asked about things like this. People would say, they would talk about a sense of place or, what is it that makes Leland special? And, Leland is a wonderful place to live. It's got something for everyone,
Hmm.
but it's also a community that's being built from scratch.
Yes.
And you only get one shot to do that. So it's always worth looking at these X Factor projects. What could we possibly bring to the community that's really going to bring that sense of place? Oh, Leland, that's the place with X. And
Yes.
Founders Park is something like that. To have this beautiful civic space with a fantastic amphitheater, the ability to see. I mean, you were there. There were over 2,000
Yes.
people in the
Yeah.
crowd. We could have doubled that crowd without blinking, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that is the first step towards building those special things that give a community their sense of identity, their sense of place. So I was so proud to see that come across the finish line and to
Yeah.
have worked with so many partners to get it and to have brought in so many of these elements, right? The preservation of the
Sure.
older trees, charging stations,
Yeah.
the pervious parking lots,
Yeah.
all of these future focused items were just wonderful.
I mean, and there's a lot of public participation, and as you know, the town actually has a survey out now on the future of town parks and what people like, what they would like to see, et cetera. So I would urge folks to go to the town website and take the 2 minutes time to fill it out to help the town focus on things that people are really interested in terms of the future. And a lot of folks they move here, and Leland, as you said, is a very young town. When I was mayor in Percival, we celebrated our centennial, right? So Percival's now 118 years old. Leland hasn't even reached the ripe old age of 40, right? And
37,
so,
yep.
yeah, and so there's a lot of things that are happening in building consistent with the letter Z, zoning, in your book to pay attention to. So how has your toughest critic at home taken to the book?
She loves it, actually.
Okay.
Well, full disclosure, the first time I read it, we made it all the way to M
Okay.
before she lost interest. So that's
Okay.
halfway, but for a 2 year old, that's a big deal.
Yes. Okay.
Um, and today, actually, my mother picked her up to spend some time with her, and
Okay.
she got in the car and she said, "Did you see Dada's book?"
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so my mother said, "Oh, what about his book?" She said, "Dad, I wrote a book about the government." So
Okay.
she,
Okay.
even at 2, she's been able to kind of understand these concepts in a way and see that it was something that I did, and she knows. And she's obviously very proud of me.
Yeah.
I think
Hey,
my
she
wife
should
Danielle
be.
was thrilled too to see me
Yeah.
do it. She would much rather have me writing children's books than actually participating in the
Yeah. It's a
political
lot of
arena.
time.
So she's thrilled with it too.
It's a lot of time. I always would call my role as mayor my full-time, part-time job.
Yep.
And it does require a lot of time and effort and the ability to listen and to work with people with different viewpoints to make for a better community. I know that the book originally came out on Amazon, but there are other venues to purchase it now, Bill.
Yeah, several other retailers have
Okay.
picked it up since its release. So
Okay.
it's available online at Walmart, Books A Million, and Barnes and Noble, as
Okay.
well as some other smaller booksellers have started
Okay.
listing it as well. And I'm working on getting it locally. Brunswick County Library has
Okay.
purchased a copy, and we're working on getting them an additional 5. and
Okay.
that would allow it to be for there to be a copy at every branch and the bookmobile.
That's super. I will be sharing the link to Amazon where you can read an excerpt of the book. Again, if you're so interested, please do so. I think it's really important for kids to understand all the different levels of government. I mean, obviously, the president and Congress always gets a lot of attention, but the local government is really important. Bill, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to me about this. Visit allthingsleland.com if you want to subscribe to sign up. Promise we won't spam you. The only time you get an email is when a new post goes up. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.